Hey everybody, it's Shadowstar and Crystal here for another Arrow review. This time it's Blind Spot, the 11th episode of Season 2, and just like last episode, it was kind of an average episode.
If not a bit worse.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one was better or worse. They were both kind of parallel, kind of average. Nothing amazing, nothing awful.
I mean, they were building up to some good stuff, and it just...
Yeah,
Laurel wasn't as good.
We'll talk about the Laurel plot because the episode begins with Sebastian murdering his mother, but this leads to an interesting plot of both Laurel gets due justice because she finally gets called out on her drug problem, and they're right, she does have a problem, they're all right, but she's right too.
Yeah, she's also right about Sebastian.
Laurel starts to try and really call out Sebastian, seeking help from literally everyone, and no one will believe her. And the irony is she's actually right. That's the sad part.
That's a trope they use a lot on TV. Nobody believes someone who's right all along.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing, though. They're both right. She does have a problem.
Yeah, exactly. So he tries to pin it on the drugs and says, "Oh, your mind's not right" or something.
Exactly. So,
if she had just gotten off the drugs earlier on when he tried to tell her to, then they would have believed her.
Exactly. But it's an important lesson Laurel has to learn is you can't be taken seriously when you're somebody like that. And it's Laurel finally realizing she's gone too far because now she can't do anything. And at the end of the episode, she loses her job.
Yeah.
But, it's a cruel twist of both... I both love and dislike the Laurel stuff. Because on one hand, I never liked the Laurels being an alcoholic. But this was an interesting episode to deal with it. Most other episodes, I really hate it. This episode dealt with it interestingly. And, I do like that Laurel's right. But that's about it. We do get Laurel teaming up with the Arrow, which, is nice, even though, once again, it's another flip-flopping back and forwards. But, yeah.
Yeah, because she just cared about finding evidence about Sebastian. So she figured, well, he can help me get the evidence. And she had to go with him to find it. And then the thing ended up being empty anyway.
Exactly, that's the thing, they get close, but even by the end of it, even though they had some hints, they
haven't really made any progress.
Well, even then, they think that, because Officer Daly died instead, even Oliver and all that have given up thinking it was Sebastian.
Yeah, and that leads into the title, because Oliver says, she was my blind spot. I only believed it because it was Laurel.
Yeah, the weird thing is, this episode didn't really have its own villain. It was just more of the continuous villain, which you would think that would be better. Usually you'd think, oh, we don't have a one-off villain.
You'd think that, but I didn't care for it.
Exactly, same. I wasn't excited either. It was just, oh, that was it. There's no side villain. There's no nothing. Usually that's better. Speaking of villains, we did get some more Slade in the prison.
Which is good because he was absent from the past.
Yeah, that's a good point. We didn't have Slade in the flashbacks, but we have Slade in the present. There's not too much, just reminding us he's controlling everyone. But, we did get to see Slade in his present-day Deathstroke outfit.
Yeah, pretty good.
But, yeah. But that's about it for all that.
Spoiler, we don't know that name.
Oh, who doesn't? But, okay, there was one tiny little neat scene. At the beginning, Oliver's interrogating a guy, and I do like the polygraph scene.
What color are your shoes?
I love the bit that the guy actually looks down at his shoes. It's a nice little bit. It's about the only scene that makes me laugh in this episode, but...
Okay, but Felicity said she needed that question to test it, but to test it, she needs to know if he was telling the truth or not. But Oliver never told her, yeah, he's right, that they are blue.
I mean, we'll just assume he was telling the truth. But, oh well, I'm sure he could have told her later. But anyway, yeah, since we mentioned Slade, we'll talk about the flashback, which kind of didn't do much. Slade's still missing, and we just have a scene of Sarah talking with, Ivo.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. She was trying to reason with him.
Yeah, she was trying to reason with him, but this was the point where she realizes there's no going back. I mean, that's the thing. It confirms what she should have known all from the start, that he was never to be trusted. But at the same time, you can kind of understand why she did.
Yeah, he saved her. She kind of trusted him.
And she kind of didn't have many other options anyway. But yeah, there wasn't much exciting about the flashback.
Yeah, because we see, as soon as she calls him out, he says, "Oh, you ungrateful bitch," or whatever, "I'll kill you now." So if she had called him out early on and said, "No, I don't trust you, I don't want to help," he would have just thrown her in with the other prisoners.
Exactly. Going back to Slade, I do have to nitpick his accent. I do. That's the thing. On one hand, there are times where I think, okay, he's doing an Australian accent. But he also pronounces things weird, such as the way he pronounces Laurel Lance, or the way he pronounces vigilante.
Yeah, we're Australian and we say vigilante.
And we say Lance, but he says Laurel Lance, and he says vigilante. He says it with a hard A.
I think, with Lance, I think it's just based on what the person says when it's a name. For example, in Doctor Who The Runaway Bride, the guy Donna is going to marry, his name is Lance.
Yeah, Lance
so
is more of a...
because they say that, I would call him
okay,
that.
I have to do this later, because I legitimately don't know what Manu Bennett's nationality is, and I don't know what his real voice is. If he is doing an accent, he's clearly studied a few things wrong, because Lance is typically more of a British thing. I don't know any...
Yeah, because Rip ends up calling her Miss Lance later on.
Oh, yeah,
and
you're
so does
right.
Gideon.
Exactly. Lance is more of a British thing.
Which I still disagree with. I think with names it should just be whatever they
That's
call
the thing.
themselves.
A lot of people do that, because I've noticed British and American people just stick with whatever they feel comfortable with, whereas we, and I don't know how common this is for Australians or just us, but we are good at flexing to whatever the name is. And I'll pick on this right now, even though it's completely unrelated, but my favourite example is Clara or Clara.
Yes.
Now, my greatest example is watch an American person watch Doctor Who, and they pronounce a companion as Clara.
They do? That's so dumb.
It's like, can you not pronounce Clara? It's with a hard R sound. Because,
Clara is from Doctor Who. Clara is from Back to the Future.
Exactly. But we're getting off topic. I just wanted to nitpick the
Or
so-called...
was that Bianca or Latias?
Yeah, but okay. Yeah, well, you can say Bianca or you could say Bianca. It depends on what the people say.
Yep, I knew some girls at school named Bianca. Both of them, we called them Bianca.
But we're getting off topic. We just wanted to nitpick the so-called Australian accent, but... But, yeah, okay.
Names are always whatever they call themselves.
I suppose the only good or interesting plot is a Roy plot in my mind.
Oh, yeah, that was okay.
That was about the only exciting plot. There also wasn't that many plots. There was a Laurel plot, there was a main plot, which was kind of a Laurel plot.
It just reminds me of the sort of bloodlust some characters have later on because of how he kept hitting the guy more than he needed to.
You know
and then
what?
He pushed Sin away.
That's a very good point. It's a lot like Bloodlust, which, well, we'll get into that soon for quite a few characters. But yeah, we've known for the past couple of episodes that, Roy's had the Mirakuru who's got super strength. But at least now he's going to start teaming up with the Vigilante again, and that's about it. I mean, yeah, we do get a little side plot of him and Sin trying to be their own vigilante, which doesn't work well. But at least now...
And they make Sin look weird to be a prostitute.
I know, that was so stupid. But, but that's about it. I enjoy the plot, and I like what is coming up for Roy, but that's mainly the ending. It gets me excited for what's coming for Roy, and it was a nice plot, but that's about the only good plot I can think of. This episode was just kind of, there wasn't much exciting.
I liked that when they pretended Sin had a date, I liked the small detail that Thea said, whatever you're into.
I don't know if we ever find out what Sin is into.
I mean, there was a moment when I thought she might have had a connection with Sarah.
No, definitely not, especially with what we find out later.
Okay.
Yeah, that just make it a bit weird. But all in all, there wasn't that there wasn't that many plots. The flashback was kind of boring. The Laurel stuff, while Laurel is right and it's a bit interesting to watch, there are worse Laurel dramas, so I'm not going to complain about it.
I'll just go with 6.
But there was nothing exciting. The Roy plot is about the only thing I think of, and that's about it. The weird thing, I've noticed with seasons, usually the middle part of the season gets a bit...
Yeah, like you said you love season 2, and sometimes I can see why,
But this middle section is kind of dying down, and I agree.
Yeah.
Like let's agree, those first 9 episodes were amazing.
Yes.
And I know the last handful of episodes are great too. And I know we're going to get some good episodes judging by the upcoming names, but I agree, I'm going to give it the one thing I'm trying to figure out is, did you like this episode more or less than the previous one?
What did we give the previous?
The last one, we both said 6.
Just 6. Yeah. I suppose I liked it less. I'll go 5.5.
I'm going to give it a 6. I really can't figure out whether I like this one more or less. But I'm giving it 6 and you're saying 5.5.
Yes.
So what is the next episode name?
Tremors.
Oh, I just watched an episode. Well, I watched a Supergirl episode with the same name. There's quite a few times where Arrowverse shows have the same names. But we'll get into Tremors, and I honestly can't... Again, I can't remember what the name refers to.
I don't know.
But I like the one after it. But we'll get to that later.
I think I have some idea what it could refer to, the one after.
Oh, definitely, especially when I already remember a cliffhanger coming up. But let's not talk about the one after the one. Let's just worry about next episode is Tremors. I remember nothing about it except the cliffhanger. We will see you next time for the, 12th or 13th?
12.
12th episode. This was 11. Yeah, we will see you next time for the 12th Arrow episode of Season 2, Tremors. See you next